Hello and welcome to Race 6, this Monaco Grand Prix of my multiplayer championship. I say mine, it's hosted by someone else. I am the real Tom Tom here on Twitter and on YouTube. So I've skipped the qualifying. I am pretty much in last bar one, I think we saw there. I'm choosing my setup, adding a little extra fuel. I don't know whether that ever helps me or not. So yes, I'm P15 out of 17. I'm very cautious on the start. This is Monaco. It's going to be busy. It's going to be tight. So I'm very, very cautious away from the line. I do still take my front wing off before even the first corner into the back of someone, even trying to be careful. But luckily I don't spoil their race, so they keep going, at least for the moment. As you saw there, though, that was an accident by someone else, not involving me, which was quite nice to have. Another spin there, so the safety car is now deployed. And so it's time to make it back up to the pack and try and follow along. Now, I decided, because it's so early on and there's no tyre wear, I'm not going to pit in yet for A, new tyres, or B, to change that front wing that I've got the issue with. I'll see if I can make it last a little bit. Again, maybe you can tell me a bit later what you think, whether that's a good idea or not. Number 14, this is a bit of a mess. It's like everyone's ghosted out. I don't know what's happened. Someone else comes blitzing past, so I just follow through and I get to 12th. He hangs back to let me get to 11th, but I don't know why I made it past everyone. Really not sure what happened there. I now ghost out. Again, I take the place back. It's all a bit of a mess, and I'm not quite sure what happened and why, because I wasn't ahead of those people to start with. I wasn't obviously racing them at that point. I was just trying to catch the back of the pack, but because of an incident, I was allowed to go past, whereas later on other people aren't allowed to go past. It's, like I say, all just a little bit odd. So I've made it up to 11th already by sort of the end of the first lap because of a safety car. What I was talking about there was falling too far back, so I've now got to pick up the pace a bit, try and catch up. So I'm pushing a little bit better, but well, not so much better, just harder. And I don't see them on the top of the hill. And luckily, it ghosts me. I go through and fly through all these cars, and I again then hand it back. I'm now in a different position to where I was. It's all very confusing. That was completely my fault, and I'm glad that didn't take me out, because that would have been annoying, especially with what happens through the rest of this race. So we end the safety car. It's all about to start again, and so we are now about to go racing. I am on the Super Soft, whereas the car in front of me there is in the Ultra Soft, the purple walled tyre. So they should be quicker than me, or at least have better tyre wear. As you see, make quite a few connections with the walls in Monaco. A lot of people do, and you'll see as the race goes on and the amount of people left playing, it's that kind of track. I get very lucky, I think, and by the fact you can see this is a sort of 19-minute video, I do finish the race, but I'm very lucky with the fact that I do finish and where I finish because of it. So my tyre wear is not too bad. Again, Monaco, from the way I see this drive out, isn't actually that bad with tyre wear, but I do have a damaged front wing. And now pushing on music. Again, I hate the tunnel. I go into either side of the wall, trying not to go into the wall, and I'm not sure why. My first warning there for corner cutting. Sometimes I find where you accidentally do it as a corner cut, it gives you the warning or the penalty for corner cutting. That was my fault for a very bad line, and I now get taken, as you see there, by two people. But yeah, where you get that corner cut, because you slow down trying to get back to it, you end up losing more time than if you had corner cut, but you still get the penalty. Anyway, the rules is the rules. So I just lost 2 places. I'm now back down to 15th place. Pushing hard again to try and catch up, see if I can get past anywhere. Obviously, Monaco in real life is not known for passing, and on multiplayer games also not known for its passing abilities, but we'll see what we can do. Someone has spun, so there you go, that's 1 place made up. That was lucky for me. again, and because of the way you come around that corner, if that was kind of in real terms, I wouldn't have seen him there. It just happened far too quickly. So now I can see myself there, 14th place out of the 16 runners that there are, or at least the 16 that have started. We've had at least one retirement so far. Yeah, Fernando finishes ahead of me, so he's still racing at the moment. He's just behind me where he spun. Again, it's finding that, I believe that's called the bus stop. I'm not very good at the names of the corners, but that's where I go. Right, had my first pit. Get a warning for crossing the white line, although it's not white, it's yellow at Monaco, just to confuse you. So I get a warning there, but we're back out now. Lap 9 on a set of the ultra soft tyres. And as yet, no damage. That's a good start for lap 9, no damage. I think I am now down to, yeah, I can see that I'm down to 16th because of my pit. I've got a blue car coming up behind me. I get a lot of blue flags in this race. I get lapped by the leader 5 times. I'm sort of minus, I'm plus 5 laps on by the end of the race. The reason I leave this bit in is I get overtaken by the sort of the 1 and 2 positions. Absolutely fine. Happens later on, and you'll see it where I get overtaken by someone who's fighting me for position. But hey ho, you can't complain. Well, you can, but it won't do any good. Here we go. So, following back round to the start of it again. When you get that corner right, you really get a lot of speed through there. And again, with that one as well, if you really hook it up sort of nicely, you get it perfectly right. You get a lot of speed. And that last corner as well. Oh, here's Fernando. I'm catching him. So, can I get back to that 13th, 14th place? A few people out the pits trying to avoid them. Robbie's just ahead of me, but luckily I'm able to overtake him without taking him out. I don't know how I did that. It was very close, but that puts me back up to 14th place. Robbie is now behind me, and we're fighting for position. Again, the good thing with Monaco is you can kind of keep people behind you if you drive fairly sensibly and people aren't just rear-ending you or deliberately pushing you off the track. The hard bit, like I say, comes now with I've got blue flags saying let them pass. So I've got to let the blue flags pass, the faster cars, and try and maintain position. And as I allude to, I don't, because I let the blue flag past, but Robbie in a second. Oh, I've got another blue flag as well, so I almost take Shinner out. Don't mean to do that, but it was reasonable braking. It's not too bad. So yeah, here it is. I think so it's another blue flag to let them past. I try and go to the left, give them space on the actual, what you'd guess is the racing line, and that's where Robbie comes through and takes me for 13th place. And that annoys me. But again, there's not much you can do. It's one of those, you're fighting as best you can to keep that place, but when you can't keep it, you just can't keep it. But I do get DRS. Now, I got done for an illegal overtake, which I only realised, and I thought it was for Robbie, but it was actually further back. And what it was where it's the faster car had gone through, but had a crash, and I overtook them, but in a yellow flagged area. I got listed as an illegal overtake, even though they had an accident on track. It's one of those, not quite sure what they wanted me to do, whether it was just sort of sit there and wait for him to move off again. So I have to, again, now move for another blue flag and sort of keep out the way and let them through. There we go, we come out to another transition because we're under the virtual safety car, so we'll come out of the virtual safety car, lap 12 of 39. And I am currently in 12th place. I hit the wall on the left hand side and do a little damage to my front wing. I then bounce across, take off my other side of the wing, get a puncture on there, and again I'm lucky to have done that and got a puncture, as a lot of people have had their wings or tyres completely obliterated when hitting the wall on this. That's again how so few people finish the race. And where we started with 16 runners, it's now down to 13. Alright, I'm 13th, and that's fine. Oh, 12th. But yeah, my tyres puncture is a luck thing rather than a judgment thing. But I'm able to continue, get to the pits, and change that over. So we're now on lap 23 of 39. The reason being is that middle stint I actually did reasonably well. You can see my tyre wear is okay. The reason I put this bit in is this guy's obviously lapped me. He's in P6, and because of his erratic driving there, I don't know whether he was computer controlled or what was going on, but because of following him around on a really bad line over that sort of hairpin, I go into the wall and take out my front wing again, which is really frustrating when you're... So again, there he is. I don't know what he's doing, and because of that, like I say, trying to follow him and not cause an accident at that point, I do my wing. I get exceeding track limits again for outbraking myself, even though it sort of slowed me down, and I get a 3-second penalty. So actually, in this race, I only get the 1 3-second penalty. I'm kind of lucky there for how many times in practices I've really been done on cutting that corner. So luckily, my tyres are still going. They are, however, fairly worn, and it's around here. I've got oh, that's right. I'm not sure what's going on. I let him past. Yeah, this is that crazy yellow flag bit. So I'm getting blue flag to let him pass. I slow down to let him pass, but in the yellow flag zone, he overtakes me, and he then has to take the place back. Oh, I have to take the place back from the first place. It's kind of like it didn't really change anything in the race. I'm not quite sure why it did it. Again, rules is rules. So 33% tyre wear, lap 25 of 39. Still got that little front wing damage. But this was a pretty good stint. I did reasonably well to keep going for as long as I did without too many incidents. Like I say, I cut that main middle chunk out. There you go, round that corner, on the marbles quite a bit with, having to do all the blue flags. I take out a tyre, so start again. Now onto the super soft tyres. I finished with my ultra soft stint, onto the super softs, and away we go. As we progressed through this, at that first corner there, I was finding a much better line through it, and I come across my old rival, One Sock Ollie, where I'm not quite sure. He's in 7th. He's obviously again sort of lapped me, being that I'm now in 9th. By this point, I've made it to 9th. Again, quite a few retirements. I am 9th of 9. I finished last, but not to spoil it too much. So I finished last. But at the moment, I'm into 9th place. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm actually going to get some points. And this is where it really is kind of that conservative driving, trying to keep myself in the race because of other crashes, because of other incidents. If I don't kill myself, I will get points for this race. And again, I'm fairly sure that I'm not going to get many other points short of other sort of these kind of incidents where people have taken out. Maybe, it's not on the calendar anymore, the old sort of European Spanish Grand Prix. That was quite a tight street circuit. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to take many more points. The only other one maybe would be Baku, the new one, because that's an insanely bad track. Now, I put this bit in. It was blue flagged. I may have taken a bad line in, but I didn't think Sam was going to overtake me there. Pushes me into the wall, and I get a little bit of front end damage. Again, I'm not saying he did it deliberately. He was trying to get through a small space. I think he should have waited, but it's a racing incident. It's just that kind of frustration of someone like myself who's going to be in the pits a lot anyway, getting knocked and pushed and kind of having to get, because you're trying to get out of the way anyway. So I get a blue flag. I try to move over. I move over too vigorously, and I get a rear left puncher. I am doing my utmost to stay in this race. I'm doing my utmost to finish. I am now in P8 of 8, so I am 8th with this. So I do get a tyre change. I do get out again. So there we go. That's lucky. I've had 2 punches now, a front right and a rear left puncher, if you're counting. This is, I think, my 3rd pit stop, may even be the 4th. Maybe you can answer this for me in the comments. Do you get a finite number of wings? Because the damage on my front wing there, it's not obviously they didn't repair it, and I'm not quite sure whether they should have done, whether that was needed or not. Obviously, I know at a real Grand Prix they have a finite number of wings. Should they take them out? And maybe I think it's about 2, possibly 3 that they bring to a Grand Prix. With this being what it is, are they following those rules? Do you have a finite number of wings? I'm going to say I think you do, for the fact that it wasn't changed despite the damage on this particular incident. But again, if I took it off again, maybe there would be. So, driving places like Monaco as slowly as I obviously do. My fastest laps are 1:24, and I think the fastest lap in the end is about a 1:15. Is the blue flag conditions. It's trying to find space to keep racing, not put yourself into the wall, but give the people faster than you a place to overtake. And it can be quite tricky, sort of as a back marker, to make that gap, make that space, find that sort of area to move over to where there is no runoff for you to actually sort of move into. You've got to do it on track. And as you can see, and I'm sure if you've played this game or watched any Formula 1, know Monaco has no overtaking. It is essentially almost like an A road. You're driving with no space to attack. And although it can be done, and we've seen it, especially coming up. Oh, there we go. I've given myself another rear puncher, just wiggling it out there. But yeah, I've seen quite a few overtakes here, although as you also see where Hamilton and Massa a couple of years back, they kept having lots of tussles, and I think they got taken out in the chicane. But here we go. I am a few laps from the end, and being that I'm 5 laps down, I'm again another puncher. I am now fighting to not kill myself. The upsides to all this is I do then eventually get to use all compounds, except for obviously wet weather tyres, but I use all the compounds. Blue flag, I get over here, and then again get around the corner, but push myself again to the left to let them pass, giving them as much space as I possibly can. I go through the pits, I get a new set of tyres. As we see here, I'm now on the soft tyres. So I've done ultras, I've done the super softs, and I again am now onto the soft tyres. I'm not sure anyone else in this race used all 3 compounds, and I'm not sure you'd ever really need to use all 3 compounds. But there we go. I do 34 laps. It's coming up now to the end of my final lap for this race. Again, 5 laps down. I'm not sure whether it's because I'm a pad player. I'm not sure whether they're on pads or wheels. It's probably my setup. It's probably me being a bad driver in general. I enjoy it though. I enjoy the game. I enjoy this kind of online, the chat that we have while we're playing. I enjoy the racing. And I do like it where I get to try and battle for a position with some of the other guys who are like me, maybe not quite as fast, or one of the back markers. But it's just frustrating when you make little mistakes, especially on unforgiving tracks. And I mean, in one respect, I'm grateful for it. It's how I get my 8th place in this race. And again, you'll see here where the few people have left, and it's now put the real names in. So you've got Carlos Sainz in first, Nico Rosberg, Ricciardo. I'm not sure which of those finished them as themselves, where the computer took over. So I'm not sure whether my online position will actually go up for some of those, because I think one of the cars who finished second was AI controlled actually for the whole race, despite it being his name. So that, not quite sure whether that'll work out. But just in terms of the game itself, I finished 8th. I was happy with that, despite having so many trips to the pits and doing myself no favours. But there we go. I am now 16th in the championship. I am pleased with that. But thank you very much for watching this Monaco video. Please do subscribe, thumbs up if you like it. And again, we'll be back next time for this multiplayer championship with the next race on the calendar. Thanks very much for watching this video.